episode of Toon Talk TV, the top animated podcast on... Did I say podcast? Podcast. The top podcast. Top animated podcast on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/wearethetelevision. We got a tasty episode today. We have a very special guest. He... Fast and Furious arcade game. He voiced in the Meat Canyon cartoon. He's half of Skullcrusher. It is the one, the only Rudy Schultz. I peeked a little bit right there. Rudy,
how's it going, guys?
How's your Friday coming along?
It's going okay. I'm a little sleep deprived and just scrambling to get everything done that I have to get done. And hopefully when all the scrambling's done, I can throw a movie on or something. That'd be nice.
Nice. Did you catch any good Halloween flicks this month?
I have this Halloween ritual that's like maybe bordering on like obsession at this point, where I watch a ton of horror movies between like September when I start getting the itch through like Halloween. And this year I watched, I think, like 76 horror movies between those 2 months, which is like...
Oh my God.
Dude.
That's way too many. It got to the point where, it's usually like the last week or two, I'm like, do I even enjoy movies at all anymore? Like,
Punishing yourself, dude.
What am I doing? Yeah, it's like... It's like when the the stereotype of like the dad catches his kid smoking, so he makes him smoke like a whole carton. It's like I made myself smoke the whole carton of like horror movies available on like all streamers. Yeah, it's too much. It's way too much.
So to kick off the show, definitely going to throw you a couple softball questions to start, because that's every interview starts off with a couple softball questions, right?
They're going to be hardball questions.
Oh, dude, 100 miles
We're
an hour
railing on
coming
you,
at you,
dude.
soon,
Yeah. Be prepared, man. Be prepared.
Great. Nice.
No, this is a simple. It's a simple, funny one. You know, I kind of went on your Instagram, and we'll link all this stuff in the description. But I saw that you were wearing a Death Saves T-shirt, and we as well. Well, we play D&D, and so I wanted to ask.
Oh, good.
Are you a D&D fan? And if so, do you have a character? What's your character level? You got any backstory about that?
I have been playing D&D probably since I was like 8, I think. One of my aunts gave me she just had an interest in it and would tell me about it. I don't know if they ever gave me anything D&D related as like a gift or anything, but my parents got me the advanced Dungeons and Dragons like box set with the red dragon on it, the second edition one.
Nice.
With Thaco and all that stuff in it. And I like taught myself how to play that. So yeah, I've been playing D&D in its various iterations for a really long time, because I'm 35 now, almost 36, so 28 years.
Nice.
I'm like almost always the DM, which is fun and can be really fun.
Pretty cool, dude.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I would
I
like playing a one-off campaign with you. I think you'd make a pretty interesting campaign there.
That'd be sick, yeah. I think one-offs are so fun because like the stakes are lower because you're not as worried about your character and people take bigger risks. I think it's really sick. Yeah. I want to say the only edition I didn't play was like 4th. I think I skipped that one. And I played Pathfinder too for a long time. I love D&D. It rules. I guess as a kid, it was always like and even as an adult, it's just a fun way to like, create your own. I always, as a kid, wanted to make my own like video games. And so it's kind of like a way to create your own video game.
It is.
And then be all the NPCs and the monsters. And like, it was really fun.
Not to mention just like storytelling and improvisation practice. And I feel like that goes into a lot of what you do as a voice actor, right? I'd imagine that makes you a better voice actor.
I think it helps for sure. And I think a lot of like the best voice actors make some of the best DMs. I mean, there's a reason that like Critical Role sold out, what was that, like Wembley Arena or whatever it was in
Yeah.
the UK?
Like 12,000 fans. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Nuts.
That's very cool. And yeah, I think it's obviously because like that group has a lot of charisma and a lot of talent and are great with their voices and are great with stories. And like, Matthew Mercer's got more than just his voice in his weapons arsenal. But yeah, I think the most fun that I've ever had is always with a DM who's like got a little bit of a theatrical flair to it. And it's not like a rules session.
Guys, don't get any ideas, dude. I'm by the rules,
Nick's
dude.
the DM for us. So
Sick.
take some
Yeah, hell
notes,
yeah.
Nick.
Yeah.
Take some
Yeah,
notes.
take
I mean,
notes, Mick.
I always try to get the rules right and play by the rules as written and everything, but like it's crazy stuff. Like people trying to chuck dwarves places or like like a rat folk guy trying to like burrow his way into like a treant type nemesis. It's like, that kind of stuff. It's
Dude, we're
like
dealing with
I don't know what the book says. Let's make some rules up, I guess.
We're dealing with we're currently dealing with a werewolf infestation that's kind of going off the rails right now.
Tis the season, dude. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's good to hear, man.
So
huge D&D fan.
So kind of going off that, I know like with all your YouTube videos, you're crapping out so much good dialogue. Are you writing some of this down and preparing it, or are you just kind of like shooting from the hip? Is this all improv?
I guess I'm shooting from the hip, but if someone were to see like in person the process, it's usually like like sometimes a couple minutes if I like really am sleep deprived or haven't had enough coffee or whatever, but it's usually like a big gap of a few seconds of me like, what the fuck would this guy say? And then like spitting out a line and then like trying to hit that line a few different ways and like get a good sound out of it. And then sometimes I'll be like, oh, wait, I have a better idea for that. And then like repeating. So usually those videos are anywhere from like 12 minutes to like, if I'm really having a tough time, like 18 or 20 or something. And then they're all cut down to just a minute. So I try to be quick on my feet, especially because like, in like the real big boy gigs, if you're like going out for something that's going to be on TV or whatever, a lot of the time they'll have you come in and just like lay down some ideas. Like I really do want to be quick on my feet, quick with jokes and stuff like that. But, easier said than done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm always trying,
That's awesome, dude. So with, sticking with how you just said, sometimes that can do 12, 20 minutes condensed down to a 1 minute short. In your opinion, what makes a good short? Like how do you find out of the 12 minutes, 1 minute of success? Like what makes a good one?
So I know what makes the ones that I want to make, but I don't even necessarily know if like, the videos I'm making are like quote unquote good, especially
They are
considering the
they
view
are.
count on some of them.
Stop.
So it's like, what makes a maybe like a short that I like that a lot of people wouldn't watch. That's, I guess like I'm always, if I'm like doing an audition, which I usually do anywhere from like 4 to 8 a week. Since I'm doing them at home in this room, I'm not doing them with direction. I usually don't get direction until I'm like actually in the session. So then I kind of have to like have a director in my head. So I'm like super closely paying attention to how I'm sounding versus like how I imagine the line to go in my head. And I do that same thing when I'm doing all those videos that I throw up online. So it's like, after the fact, it's kind of me just going through and like picking out the lines that I think sound the best. And usually that puts me kind of around a minute anyway. Sometimes I'll have to cut like a line or two that I would want to keep, but I don't have time for, because I always try to cram them into just like 1 minute, especially because I don't want to consider stuff for specific platforms. So I'm just like, I'm making one and then I'm putting it everywhere.
Universal numbered. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
So-
just like, one's good. I know some of them are up to like 3 or 5 minutes now, but for my stuff, I just try to keep it to a minute. And it's just kind of a lot of me like self-editing and just going through and like, that sounded like shit. That sounded like shit. That sounded okay. Oh, that's the one. I'll keep that one. And then stacking those up.
So I want to go into specifics a little bit about the cartoons that you make. So you are co-creator of Skullcrusher. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What is Skullcrusher?
Yeah, it's me and Pat Kane, who's an animator that's worked on like Beavis and Butthead and Apple and Onion and a bunch of other stuff. I think he worked a little bit on Super Jail too, which is awesome. He worked on the show Praise Petey that came out on Netflix recently. He's done a bunch of work with Meat Canyon as well. He was like doing a lot of character designs for Monster Lab that Hunter created a while back. So it's me and Pat is, I think, would love to just be an art director and a character designer. And then I would just love to be a voice actor. And like, we would like to do those things, period. But we thought that a really cool way to like get eyes on our stuff and get people interested in like hiring us to work on different projects would be to like make cartoons. So he knows how to animate because he did it for years and years. I mean, he is an animator, but I think he would much rather be like stepping into a character design role full time because he's like an amazing character designer. He's so fantastic. He makes like a bunch of comics as well, and I see his like comic influence in his character designs. I think his shit is just like, it looks so good. I think, anyway, I could gush about the guy forever because I love his art. But
it's very cool stuff. Yeah, the whole channel is awesome. It's great.
Thanks. Yeah, so he's doing all the visual stuff, and then I'm doing all the audio stuff. So I do all the voiceover, but then I also do all like the sound design, and I do I guess most of the writing, although that's a lot of like Pat and I will hop on a call and we'll kind of riff out some ideas and get like a bit of an outline or like a skeleton of how we want the cartoon to go. And then typically I'll take those ideas that we had and then write like all the dialogue. So I'm like the writer, but then we're really both writing it.
It feels like very dialogue driven. Like the Dry Guys, we talked a little bit about that one. It's based around like one center joke, and it feels very real. Two guys talking in that moment. But then also one that really made me laugh too was I believe it's called The Cowmen, and it's like, I'm gonna wine and dine you, like, and they just keep talking about like it's so like very dialogue driven, which really makes these I feel like it's great for two guys who are making cartoons because there's not a lot of animation, but you get to showcase what you guys are really good at, which is character design and voices and characters and stuff.
So actually that brings up another point. Which came first for you? Was it sound design or was it voice acting?
Voice acting 100%. It's really, the sound design is honestly just because like I love it. I mean, the voice acting is all like, that's like the main thing that I want to do and the main thing that I'm like very passionate about. But when it came time to like, Pat initially hit me up about that Boo Boo the Boo Boo Kisser cartoon. And that was like the first thing that we ever worked on together. And he had seen a bunch of the videos that I made. I initially asked him for some character designs, and then he saw what I did with them and saw a bunch of the videos that I made and was like, hey, do you want to make a cartoon together? And I was like, fuck yeah, that sounds like a dream. So then I like laid down all the voice stuff, and we got it all animation locked. And I was like, I know how to like edit sound. I could like add in sound effects and like music and shit if we wanted. And then I gave it a shot and he was like, this is great. Let's do it. So I just have like kept doing that. And yeah, so it's definitely the voice acting came first, but there's something about sound design that I just love. Like I have always like when I watched movies as like a youngster, I feel like if I saw something really scary or intense, like my folks said that I would like cover my ears instead of like covering my eyes, like because it was more like the audio that was giving me like the overstimulation or whatever. And yeah, that's like still to this day, like when I saw that that new run of Star Wars movies, when they like hit the first lightsaber in the theater, like the texture on that sound, I was just sitting there like, oh my God. Fuck, it was so sick. Yeah, I just love sound design and Foley and all of that. So it's cool to be able to bring that in because that's something I've always had an interest in. But as like a performer, you don't really get to do that part of it very often. So it's been very gratifying to work on this stuff with Pat and get to do that.
So you I mean, you kind of mentioned it. This is like you're doing your dream gig right here as far as making your own cartoons. Do you have a dream gig in mind that you're aspiring to, like a certain character in mind, or like working with a certain I don't know, writer, director, animator, or are you currently doing it? Are you kind of doing everything you want?
I guess that's like if you had like shown me these cartoons that I'm working on with Pat like 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh man, that's exactly what I want to be doing. Like, that's incredible. You know, I get to write them and make them myself and like control the way that they sound and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like working with this amazing animator. I would have been like over the moon. And I really am. It's like such a fucking cool collaboration to get to do. And like, I am constantly like so grateful that I get to work with Pat on these. Cause like, yeah, it's so awesome. The only thing that is a little bit of a bummer is like, they don't bring in any income whatsoever.
We hear you.
I know.
We
dude.
hear you there.
I fucking know, man.
And like, that's, in fact, if anything, I lose when I'm like buying sound effects that I can't just make around the house. But it's like, so on the one hand, it's like, yes, it's a dream come true. On the other, it's like, I do need to shove it into like, you know, the midnight hours and everything like that. I do a combo of graphic design during the day, but then also voiceover, like wherever I can get it. So like, yeah, a lot of like arcade and stuff and the occasional like computer game, and like a bunch of commercials for small businesses. And like occasionally I'll get to do something for like a big brand name, which is exciting. But I think like ideally, it's like two things. It's like I want two things. Ideally, I would want like the stuff that I make with Pat to get to the point where we have enough of a viewership that we could justify pitching someone with like one of the shorts that we're making. Like, hey, this already has like a little bit of a built-in following, and like we've done these shorts, but we could like easily incorporate like other voice talent and like get some writers on staff to actually come in and like help us make this thing bigger and more fleshed out. But like, do you want to give us some money to make this?
Yeah.
And that would be like one dream and would be like fucking incredible. And that's, I think, what Pat and I are always constantly pushing for, is like to try and get our stuff to the point where we could put it in front of somebody, like, give us money to make this for you. But then the other side of it, or the other thing that I definitely want, is just like way more gigs in like the game world, and definitely some like roles on like animated shows that get on like streamers and networks that like people could see. And I audition for those like fairly often, but it'd be nice to land one.
Yeah.
And like I get a lot of auditions for. It seems like most of the stuff that I audition for on the animation side is like mostly more geared towards like kids, which is awesome, and I have a lot of fun with that. And that would be awesome, so cool. But I would absolutely really love to get to work on more like cartoons for like adults and teenagers and stuff like that. Adults specifically, like I just love cartoons that get made for adults, and like it would be awesome to work more in that world. So I guess it's kind of three things. It's like I want my stuff with Pat to take off, I want to work in more games, and I want to work in more cartoons, and then hopefully cobble together an honest living out of that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what
That's
I'm
not
always
asking
trying
too
to
much.
push towards.
That's fair.
And it's like it's crazy because like that is so much harder than I thought it was. I just thought like as a kid, like voice actor is a job and you don't get paid as much as other jobs.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like no man, it makes like a lot, but like actually getting to do the job is like almost unheard of. It's like not common that people land anything, which is I just had no idea.
We'll pitch you to that Baldur's Gate 3 DLC stuff, dude. I could see you
Oh my
voicing some
God.
characters in BG3.
Dude, that'd be a fucking dream. That would be incredible. Oh my God. That'd be insane. That's definitely the kind of stuff that I want to do. It's like I got to be an NPC that you fight and kill, but I got to be an NPC in like a SWAT game, and that was awesome and very cool. And I hope to be like more stuff in that game. That'd be so sick. But then, like, once I was done, I was like, now I gotta be an NPC in a medieval game. I just gotta.
Yeah.
I just like, make me a blacksmith, please.
What content you consuming right now? Any like cartoons, books you watching, anything like that?
Oh man, that is something that I should probably have an answer for. I just read Party Crypt 2 by Pat Kane.
Awesome.
That he
Cool.
just
There we
put
go.
out.
That's a good one.
It's perfect for the Halloween season. It's like a series of horror shorts in comic form. Badass. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Way too many
watch-
horror
what is it?
movies.
Yeah.
I could just also like shout out my friends in Warforged and Bovice and Baron Air, some killer Chicago bands that I'm always listening to, but listening to them now.
Sweet.
Perfect, man.
I'm trying to think of anything. Yeah, that's probably it.
Nice.
Oh, I get I could also mention my buddy Michael Myers, Chicago stand-up, just put out an album. I used to do stand-up, so I've got like 500 comedian friends on Facebook that are always releasing stuff, and I'm trying to think if anybody's got. I think just Michael Myers, which obviously easy
Nice.
name to find around
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, you can't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, you got any final questions or anything like that?
I have looked at your Instagram and your YouTube, and you put out these videos that are so cool. It looks like you're seeing a character or a cartoon for the first time, and you just do a bunch of voices for that. Would you be willing to do that here today with us?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Okay, so we got a cactus with a cigarette, and he's got a wife beater on. So I think he probably sounded something like this. He got them teeth out here. Hey, I'm a prickly guy. What are you doing? What are you doing out here in my desert? You think you're bad enough for the Badlands? You think you're bad enough for the Badlands? I don't think you are. What do you think you need some water? Is that what you gonna come here, cut me open? Try to make sure you don't starve out in the desert. You don't starve to death of thirst. It's not how starving works or thirst, but you get my drift. Fuck out of
Dude,
here.
Rudy, that's
was
so good.
so good,
That was so good. All right, here's another one of our buddies.
Oh, this guy's getting a wedgie. He's clearly a nerd. Oh, why are you guys always picking on me? I know I draw weird pictures of anime Some people just have the sexual urges that they need to get out in the middle of class. What if I didn't do that? What else would I do? You want me to start jerking off in class? Is that what you want? You want me masturbating? Me, Timmy, masturbating in class? That's what you want? All right, if I'm being honest, I don't mind the wedgies at all. I act like they bother me, but the pain is delicious. I saw Hellraiser when I was 6, and now I have problems.
I got no spine.
All right, one more.
So good.
Oh man. Okay. He's like very amorphous. But oh man, it's like because I'm getting all this like Elvis-y entertainer stuff, but then what a ghoul. I'm trying to see if I can hey honey, I'm gonna sing one for you in the front row, but that's like if he wasn't a ghoul. So if he was a ghoul with that kind of a thing, it would be like, hey, how you guys doing tonight? I'm a ghoul. I'm gonna sing one for you tonight here. A hit that I've been singing for many years. Okay. Yeah, something like that.
You are a professional.
Bravo,
You're a pro.
Bravo.
You're a pro, man. Good shit.
Bravo.
Thanks, guys. That was so nice of you guys to draw me some cartoons to put some voices to. That was so cool.
Yeah, man.
Oh, shit.
Well, that has been quite the roller coaster. You survived your first ever episode of Toon Talk TV. We thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much, Rudy.
Oh, hell yeah. No, this was really a blast.
Another round of applause, dude. That's going to be the show, boys. Be sure and like, follow, and subscribe. All of Rudy's stuff will be linked in the description. Go check that out. It's great. Head over to the Patreon page, patreon.com/wearethetelevision. Go buy a mug, t-shirt, do something fun. Go watch some horror movies. It's November. Can't stop.
We are the television.